Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Twem, and today I'm going to talk about my research interest. So if you guys will be interested in this topic, of course, I can make more videos and talk about them in details. Hello everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining me. So let's start with how it all got started. Hello everyone, welcome. It all started in the time when I was a master's student. So that time I had 2 international conferences, but still I didn't find my research interest. I didn't know what to do exactly in terms of research. Nice new haircut, buddy. Thank you, Captain. Thank you very much. Yes, by the way, it's the first time I didn't consider wearing a hat for our live shows. So let me know if this is better or not. So when I was a Master of Science student, I had 2 international conferences, one in Cyprus, the other one in Italy. But the topics were not yet the ones that I really wanted to continue. So anyway, one of them was the Geographical information system, which was related to the field that I was studying. And the other one was the effect of mood on exam of students. But of course, later you will see that I got interested in mood and emotion, but the way I approached it was totally different later. So in the year 2016 was the first time I published in scientific journals. Hello everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining me. And thank you very much for your lovely messages. Yes, so when I was a PhD student that time, I decided to actually thank you. Good evening to everyone. So that time I actually chose bioinformatics. And why is that? Because my supervisor was interested in bioinformatics. So that's how it started about that research interest. So I didn't choose bioinformatics from the beginning, but right away I understood that this is very interesting. But what it needed was biology background. So in my lectures, you can watch them on my YouTube channel. I have a course named Introduction to Bioinformatics, and I explain exactly what is bioinformatics. But to oversimplify it, I would say that you should know about biology and computer science in order to carry out research in this field. But of course, you would need applied mathematics and statistics in order to take it to another level. Thank you very much for your lovely messages. So that's how I decided to work on bioinformatics, because my supervisor that time when I was studying PhD, then he was interested in bioinformatics. And the first article I published in Journal of Bioinformatics and Computational Biology was a drug discovery for beta-thalassemia. And beta-thalassemia is a kind of Beta-Globin disorder. And we have different types of thalassemia, as you probably know. But this one we got interested because the co-supervisor that we had, this molecular biologist, this professor, had an idea about how to compensate lack of beta by increasing the level of gamma in thalassemic patients. And of course, it was not his idea because there were articles about it, but he had this idea to make this approach now using bioinformatics, which was new. So I'm trying to pursue doctorate degree across of country. Is there better for me? So which country are you now? Are you in now? In Cyprus, or you are in another country at the moment? It's nice that you want to pursue PhD. Yes. So I was talking about that drug discovery part. That's the reason we took thalassemia as a topic, because that professor knew that topic very well. He worked on it in practice, and he had this idea that we can do it maybe using quantitative methods or using bioinformatics. And when my supervisor and I worked on it, and we understood, yes, it's possible. And the topic that I was very interested in was PetNet. PetNet is a mathematical modeling approach. And if you guys are interested in that, also I can have some videos related to PetNet, how you can make models with that. Of course, it demands time. Maybe I will do that when our YouTube channel gets stronger, we get at least 1,000 subscribers. So sooner we reach that part, maybe we can put more time for such free lectures for everyone. But just let me know in case that I receive very good positive feedback about it, then we can do that. Okay, so my thesis also was related to that topic, related to hemoglobin switching, which is related to beta thalassemia. And at the same time, I was thinking about doing a research related to psychology. I was not sure how to approach it. And I had actually some searching for that, and I understood that quantitative psychology could be the common ground. And for quantitative psychology, you should know mostly statistics and psychology. But psychology is a vast field. It's important to find out exactly which specific topic you are interested in, and you want to devote your research to that. And I was very interested in emotion and mood, how we can simulate them using computer simulations, how we can model them using mathematical modelings. So I was very interested in that, and that's why in 2016 also I worked on that, and I was in an international conference in that time, if I'm not mistaken, it was in Lisbon, Portugal. And that time I used time series as a mathematical method, as a statistical method also, to predict mood states. And that article fortunately got lots of positive feedback from psychologists, and I was very happy to receive such reaction from psychologists around the world. So I understood this is my topic. This is the thing that I should work on, and I'm happy to do that. I agree about psychology, very interesting field. Yes, I totally agree with you. So that's how I understood that I really want to do that. I don't need necessarily other colleagues to work with, but if whenever it happens, why not? It would be interesting. Like I will say later why, for example, I would need some clinical psychologists, for example, for some of my research article, but I would do it for free. I don't care, for example, if there is a fund for that, if a university wants to give money for that, or a company. I just do it with my heart about quantitative psychology, and this is my first priority. Of course, bioinformatics, I'm interested, but usually I try to do that with other groups whenever they need someone in mathematics or computer science department. So, Aman, why you are not replying me? Let me check which message is there better for me. I'm trying. You didn't ask any question, so would you please repeat it if I missed that? I already answered your question, Aman. Okay. And this Lisbon conference was named Psychology and Behavioral Science, if I'm not mistaken. No, this was a journal, Psychology and Behavioral Science, because later for this time series and mood prediction, I published it in that journal. But why I didn't continue with time series? Because some of the scientists who are reading my articles, they asked me about that, because I understood that in some time intervals it is possible to predict using time series methods, but to predict mood and emotion is not that easy. I understood that it demands many knowledge about psychology, and not just general psychology. It needs, for example, cognitive psychology, it needs neuroscience. That's why I understood that I should know about them more. And I wanted to also describe them as a system. Like environmental factors are important, also neurotransmitters in your brain, how they react to whatever happens in your life. So it's not just you say, I'm happy now, the next state would be something, again, the next state after that would be something else, then I can predict it. By using time series, I showed that yes, sometimes when your life is not affected by different environmental factors, you can predict something, but again, you need more information. That's why I decided to consider other fields related to that. I studied more and I understood also for mathematical point of view, I need also more powerful modeling. And PetNet was the answer for me, because PetNet was a tool I was expert in, and I tried on many systems. Unfortunately, it worked out. But of course, it's not the best approach. Usually when you are dealing with a system, you should have all the tools in your hand and use the best tool for that. And but sometimes when you are expert in one field, then you try that one first to see if it works or not. If it works, why not? Otherwise, you should consider other tools. And I did actually for reaction system that I will talk about also. So in 2017, I actually published another paper related to mood, modeling it by using stochastic pattern at this time, because the last one, and also related to bioinformatics, I used deterministic models. So for deterministic models, we understood that it's a naive kind of prediction, and we can get some ideas about the system, but when we talk about biological system or psychological systems, they are stochastic. And because of that, we need to add this property also in our modeling. And I did it for PetNet, and I added that for mood prediction, and fortunately it worked very nice. And also I did one new novel gene therapy for beta thalassemia. This gene therapy was fortunately very interesting, and it was very effective, at least in theory, because all of them at the end in pharmaceutical companies or also molecular biologists, they should run experiments in their labs so that they make sure. Because our job is to just make prediction and also give ideas what we can do it in theory, but how we can deal with that in practice, that's what a molecular biologist should do at the end, or also pharmacist. So for that gene therapy, I published that one in Information Sciences journal, and if you are interested, you can also check that one out in that journal. In 2018, I had one article related to emotion regulation and how we can use emotion regulation in order to avoid mood disorders such as depression. And that time I used fuzzy stochastic pattern because we understood that fuzziness is also a property of biological systems and also psychological systems at the same time. Because when you want to know which kinetic parameters to use in your model, then it's not that easy to find them. Because usually when we check the articles related to molecular biologists, they ran some experiments, and under the same situation, then they receive different results. So it's not just one number exactly, one exact constant to say, okay, this is the multiplication of two, for example, reactions together. That's why we understood that we should use a kind of number that can cover that. And this is known that fuzzy logic could be used. So we use fuzzy numbers for that. But how to bring it to PetroNet, and it was very challenging. And we were not the only ones that did that. There are also other scientists who are dealing with that, also in PetroNet. And I tried to do it for the first time for psychological system. So that was the novel thing, because I didn't see any other papers related to psychological systems and PetroNet together like this. And that's why I'm interested also to receive more and more feedback about it from other scientists to see what they think about it. And also I published another article which is related to how we can model everything related to mood disorder in general using PetroNets, and how we can use computer simulations to find possible results to gives us some idea that, okay, what we can do in the future, what components we can manipulate in order to avoid certain disorders like mood disorders, for example. Okay, and what about the last 2 years? And what I've done in the last 2 years. So one article was related to pleasant laziness, because when I was working on quantitative psychology and about mood disorders, I understood that when you look at it quantitatively, then there are some parts of it that clinical psychologists didn't consider in their research. And I understood there is a term we can use maybe for this kind of mood disorders named pleasant laziness as a trait or mood disorder, because clinical psychologists, they don't necessarily agree that this is a mood disorder. Whenever something is in a pleasant status, they say, okay, why we should consider it, like manic trait. Manic trait itself is something pleasant, but it is excessive. And that's why I was saying that, okay, if you enjoy laziness, if your arousal is so low, if you prefer just to watch TV all the time, this is not a good sign. It may be a mood disorder, because it's very similar to depression, but the difference is that when you have a depression, then you don't enjoy it. You're sad. All the time you feel sadness, you feel this emotion. But if your mood is a pleasant laziness, it means that you're enjoying being lazy all the time. So this kind of mood can be dangerous. And why it is dangerous? Because if it is very intensive, then in that scenario, you can easily be depressed, you can be easily be anxious. You see, so this kind of mood disorder, the problem is that when they are intense, they can change to one another. That's why psychologists, when this is, for example, just manic, they say this is a trait. And when this is, for example, jumping from manic to depression, then they say, okay, bipolar is a kind of mood disorder. But I noticed when I checked quantitative psychology that there are things that clinical psychologists neglect somehow, but they are dangerous and they should be careful about it. So these kind of things can happen in theory. And of course, at the end, it should be validated by psychologists. So for that pleasant laziness, also we had a live show with Dr. Farid Holakouee. And if you are interested in that, you can check it out in our Instagram or on YouTube. I hope that you will enjoy that one, because I already received so many positive feedback about it. Dr. Farid Holakouee actually he has a PhD in clinical psychology. Especially many people know him in Persian community because of his father, Dr. Farhang Holakouee. So that video is very interesting. If you like, you can check it out on my Instagram or YouTube. and especially about pleasant laziness, we talk about it in from two aspects. One from a quantitative psychologist, the other aspect from a clinical psychologist. So it would be very nice to check it out. So I didn't want to just all the time use petri nets as a tool. I use also time series method at the beginning, but petri net was much useful. That's why I keep using that one. But also I tried another modeling method, which was reaction system. And that one actually we published it in Acta Polytechnica, which is a scientific journal in Hungary. This is actually a very good one and famous one. So fortunately, that one worked. But the thing that we understood is that reaction system also, they are kind of deterministic. And that's why, again, PetNet was more interesting for me. Thank you very much, Nusha. Thank you for your comments. Okay, guys. Also, if you have any questions about them, you can let me know. So Aman say, why you are not replying to me? And he just ran away without asking the question. Okay. So another PetNet models, by the way, we use for SMA disease, but this one, I was not the leader of that research. Actually, I just helped them to make it fuzzy. So that's why I'm not going to talk about it in details, because I don't know about SMA disease that much. But I tried to help them with that model, and it was related to bioinformatics. Bipolar disorder, the same. Yes, bipolar disorder also I talked about that. This is very important, and how it jumps from depression to manic trait. And it's also very hard to model it using mathematical modeling. So it's not easy for us. Also, it's one of my challenges. I also try to deal with that. Hopefully in the future, I will write articles about bipolar case. And also during the last 2 years, I had 3 publications in the Journal of Modern Technology and Engineering. And if I'm not mistaken, for all of them, I used petri nets again. And for one of them was related to, again, beta thalassemia. I found out that there is also another method, not just gamma. I also used another method. But also for brain cancer. It was my first experience with the cancer. And also it was not easy to model it. But fortunately, there are so many biological data that these days we can work with. So I studied a lot for that. I spent lots of time because also brain cancer is a big deal. Many people die every day because of that. So I tried to find out a new gene therapy for that, at least in theory. And in theory, it worked very well. That I noticed that there is a pathway that if we try to upregulate or downregulate some components of that, then it's possible to decrease the size of the tumor. And I really suggest pharmacists and molecular biologists to take a look at that one, because at least in theory, I believe that it can work and it can prevent the increasing size of this tumor, glioblastoma, if I'm not mistaken, as I also mentioned that article. And also, I published an article about the relation between mood and the amount of sleep that you have during daytime and nighttime. And that one also I received very interesting results. I collected data from my students, and I received very interesting results. If you are interested in that, you can also check that one out. And for all of the things that I mentioned today, if you are interested in them, you can let me know so that I can have a live show or maybe some lecture videos for you to explain them in details. And for those who ask me what I'm going to do in the future, Actually, as I mentioned, quantitative psychology is what I really love, and I enjoy working on that. That's why, for sure, for my at least solo projects, I will keep working on that. I will try to find out more ways in order to describe this hidden systems related to mood disorders. Also, I try my best to find possible maybe self-regulation methods for to deal with these disorders, or maybe even drug therapies or gene therapy. But for mood disorders, usually people don't take it that much seriously to use gene therapy, for example, for that. So for bioinformatics, like when we talk about brain cancer, of course, gene therapy could be an option, but for mood disorder, self-regulation is very preferable. But also drug therapy, especially for those who are dealing with psychotherapy, then yes, drug therapy also, I do my best to find out new methods for that. And hopefully clinical psychologists will help me with providing data. And also we need molecular biologists to keep working in the labs and bring us more data, and also the ones that we try so hard in theory, give them a shot. Because what we are doing here, we are trying to find out some methods that it was expensive for you guys to find out in your labs. So we are trying to minimize your cost. So it's nice that you take a look at what mathematicians and computer scientists have to say about it and consider it in your experiments. And for bioinformatics and GIS, then I may work with that still. I don't say no to that, but the thing is that I don't want to be the leader for this topic. I prefer that I join others. If it is interesting, you can let me know. And if there will be time, of course, I would be more than happy to join them. Otherwise, I prefer to just continue with quantitative psychology. Thank you for sharing this important information. I do have someone in my family who suffers from mood disorder. Reason I asked if it could be bipolar disorder. Thank you very much. And yes, bipolar disorder is a big deal. I'm also very sad to hear about your family. And of course, I do research for bipolar disorder, and hopefully we find out very useful information about it. Okay guys, thank you very much for joining me today, and please let me know if you are interested in any of these topics. Then I will do my best to make more videos related to that on my YouTube channel. Okay guys, see you, have a good day. Bye bye.